Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras. Hit me. This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Let's catch up on a lot of things. What have you been up to in recent times, though?
I've been on the scene, but I haven't been in the front of conversation.
Prior to this release, what was the last one?
One Love, which is a reggae song.
And how long was that? How many months?
I think a couple of months. All through this year, we did Masheri. We did One Love. We did Dromo. And then We Don't Really Care. But they were not like major
soft releases.
They were very cult, fan-based releases for the direct consumers of my art.
That's actually the first time I've heard something like that. Like, it's just music for the core fans. Is it strategic?
It's a way to keep your core fans engaged whilst you're trying to figure out how to go to the next level, because they don't really care what your plans are. They just want to consume the music, and so you can be stale, but you can be stale for a very long time. You have to keep giving them a reason to be your fans, and then try to crack the codes you are looking to crack for the next level.
So what were these codes you're looking at? I'm just getting deeper into that, because reading the whole year, the whole music scene, the release from other artists, the ecosystem, everything. What were you working around?
I wanted to get the right pipelines to get the music across to a more wider audience.
Okay.
Once you are talented, then talent is not the problem. The problem becomes reach.
Okay.
And so how do you put a pipeline in place to increase your reach? How do you also put a pipeline in place where you can monetize your music beyond just releasing it, where it can become an estate? Do you maybe travel and understand how publishing works? Do you join ASCAP? Do you build networks around Creators Guilds? Do you maybe go to LA and find CSAC and have a meeting with the president so that your music becomes an estate for your kids and not just something that you do and walk away? How do you build bridges so that even if you decide to set up a record label, you would have suffered to build the bridges and then you would onboard other younger artists? So all this is a lot of legwork.
Wow. So that's what actually moved you to the US for a bit.
Yes, it didn't move. I wasn't there for long.
Okay.
I do 2 months there, 2 months in Ghana.
Okay.
So out of the year, I'll say I've spent 6 months in the US. So I left in January, came back in March for just a couple of weeks and then left, came back, left again in June and came back.
What were some of the experiences there? I mean, things, plugs you made, connects. I know not everything will be spilled out, but
yeah, the experiences, I think the underlying thing is that there's no limit to collaborating with the global market.
Okay.
And they don't really have any strict sort of like perception about us that makes us any less capable of taking on the world. Maybe resources, logistics, and access may be our setback, but people are open to collaborate. People are open to assist. I remember we went to LA and we had a conversation with John Leach. Somebody connected me. He's the East Coast Operations President for CSAC, which is a collection society. And immediately he jumped on a call, told us come to LA. We went to LA and he onboarded us onto CSAC, myself and Gambo. And we are the only two Ghanaians on CSAC aside Burna Boy, who is the major guy. And now CSAC is basically like Gumroad, but you're onboarded based on recommendation, right, from somebody within. And so I'm sure if somebody else went and got the same access, you'll be able to leverage, Then I meet Mark in New York, and Mike and I have a conversation, and the conversation comes back.
Which Mike would that be?
Mike is one movie guy.
Okay.
And then he connects me to Paul Exton, who is the producer of Narcos. And then I come back to...
the series Narcos, right?
Yes, the series Narcos, the movie producer. I come back to Ghana, And then I get a call from Mark. It's like, yo, Edem, we are in LA, Grammy Museum, doing the launch of The Godfather of Harlem. Can you come over? And usually when you move a lot, they don't know if you are in Africa or you are in your home in the States, you know. So can you come over? I'm like, yeah, I can come over. And then I fly back.
In your pain, you fly over.
I fly over back to LA to meet Paul, and then got the chance to meet Swiss Beats, and then we had some productive conversations. And only for me to realize Paul wanted to connect me to Damian Marley, right? Because he was about to do another gangster movie, but based on a Jamaican kingpin too, who went into exile in the US. And he was going to onboard some of my songs because Mark already showed him some of the stuff I've done, and it's very African and what he's looking for. Quite unfortunately, Mike Paul Exton passed away 2 months ago.
Ouch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. God rest his soul.
He passed away 2 months ago. Went to Jamaica and then didn't wake up, you know. And so it just showed me that the doors are open. Artists alone going is not enough. That's what I can say. An artist needs to go. Media people need to go. Other creators need to go. Business minds need to go. A&Rs need to go. That way, the leverage is more. Because during the Grammys, I was in a hotel called the London, right? Which Kim Kardashian stays. So I make my mind say, me too, for there.
Sharp.
Right? It's $800 a night. So tight squeeze. Like
I know you know they like me,
31
Charlie.
say,
Now you my face, you want to fight me, Charlie.
So tight squeeze, right? And we stay in the hotel, and myself and one Ghana guy, we are going through the elevator, and then they said there's a party upstairs, and everybody in the hotel has access. So we go to the party. We are the only two black guys in the room. Jeez. And we walk to this guy, we're like, we hear there's a party going on, and it's music related. We are from the continent. We are trying to see what opportunities we can have. And the guy said he's the chef. So we should go to the other guy across the room, not knowing he was the one who just pre-funded a $3 billion long-term project for a publishing company that is emerging from Texas. The guy who said he'd be the chef. So we go to the other guy, point us to where the guy tell us, that be the guy, that's the big fish in the water. You know? So we came back and very nice and humble.
Wait, hold on. I think I saw a video. Did you put up a video of you engaging them? Was that the video you put up?
That was the Swiss Beats situation.
Okay, which we'll come to.
But we didn't use cameras in that room because we didn't know the terrain we were. You don't know if they're allowing, you know. And we spoke and we're telling them about Africa, and they said, they would like to expand, but now they are starting from Texas and only expanding in the US. Now, in my head, if you go as an artist and you meet somebody like that, they will treat you as an artist. But if you have another business head who can carry the conversation forward,
beyond the music, right?
Take a different trajectory, then you can bring him home. And then somebody will also be somebody from Ghana who is into fashion and say, you know what, I can do so and so clothing for you. That is how we are able to circle them and then bring them home. So the access is good, but when you go alone, you can use all the leverage points. I think that's what I want to put across.
Quite interesting. Let's go back to the Swiss Beats convo. You know, what kind of person is he? What was the conversation between you guys as well and stuff like that?
Swiss, his biggest artist from the continent is Ebo Taylor.
Yeah, because he mentioned that in one of his...
He loves Ebo Taylor to bits. The new Godfather of Harlem series, he even sampled Ebo Taylor a lot. So he's big on high life, right? Then what that told me was, I think sometimes in a quest for validation, we lose what we have because we think that what is elsewhere is better. That has always been the Ghanaian story. So we have high life. Somebody thinks that I'm looking very Western. These people are buying fly cars. So the fly car means that it's because my music is not good enough. That's why it couldn't acquire those material stuff. And before you know, we are doing what what the West is doing, right? And when you meet people like this and they have love for the horns, for the guitars, for Ebo Taylor, then you be telling yourself, it's not about the body of work. It's about the platform, the exposure, and the kind of mileage it hasn't gotten. And usually when the Godfathers haven't gotten to a point that you feel they should get to, an underdog whose ambition is bigger will always change the sound because he thinks that theirs wasn't that successful, you know.
Yeah.
And so we had conversations, and we are still building bridges. So he connected me to Monique, who is his handler, and we've been in talks, you know.
I always want to, I don't know, guys, if this also just scares you sometime. You know, when you see the aggression with which the West is coming back into the African space, you know, creating validation for us, refining our own things and giving it back to us. From your dealings like this, did you get at any point in time worried that we can, if we don't take care, we can lose what is actually ours, being refined and sold back to us?
I think we will not lose it. We'll just be controlled remotely, and nobody will complain. Because for an African kid like me, if I get a $3 million deal, I will be thinking of 500 million because of where I'm coming from. And so for a label to see the bigger picture and come in and give me $3 million, I'm not going to be fighting them.
Cool.
Yeah. And the truth about life is that there are stages, and so hip hop had to get to a point before assuming ownership. When they all started, they wanted what the labels were given. And so I think if we don't get to that point where we are taking the low-hanging fruits, we cannot go for all those big fights about who owns what, because they are making entry already. Coptic got on the phone with me last week.
How is he? I haven't heard from him.
He's doing good. Memphis Blake wants to look into funding Afrobeat artists. So Coptic was having a conversation with me that Memphis Blake wants to look into funding Afrobeat artists. And then there's another producer in Ghana who just sent a pack of Afrobeat beats to a top American artist, specifically 50 Cent, who is shopping around for beats for some project.
Producer in Ghana?
Yeah, a producer in Ghana. I was with him 3 days ago.
What is the work?
Do you want to put his name out?
Gazi.
Oh.
And then outside of that, Jules in Canada made me send some material because Nelly Furtado is also looking to do some collaboration. So the expansion is so fast. The speed at which the expansion is going on is so fast. Even if we as Ghanaians don't engage, we might not catch the train. We might not catch the train. It's moving so fast, which is a good thing too.
But Edem, do you think that is there a reason?
Yeah, because the thing they talk, you see,
is there a reason you don't put all of this out there? Because I'm hearing some of these things for the first time, and you will think that you are achieving, right? Aside not doing the music like some of your fans will want you to do, you're actually doing a lot of work, right? Is there a reason you don't blow it up as much?
The reason I don't blow it up is that I don't have the budget to carry a PR person with me. It's facts. I don't have the budget. I'm an independent artist. My flight to LA cost me $5,000.
Right.
So if I fly 3 times or 4 times a year, it's $20,000 from my pocket, right? And so I have to be practical. If I go to LA because of artistry and presentation, I go to every place with a GMC or a Suburban. It costs me $160 a day, or $120 if you get a good deal. If you stay in LA for 7 days and you use it for 4 days, times that. If you stay at the Marriott, you're spending $300 a night. Your checkout is heavy. Yeah. So if if I decide to get a Ghanaian to support me like KGO, they come through your crib, it saves me cost. But imagine I go with a PR person, and then even if I'm on the east, which is the New York side, DMV side, and I'm crossing over to the west, the flight is 600 in, 600 out. So moving around in the States is more expensive than moving from Ghana, because if I go from the east to the west and it's $1,006 and I go 4 times because I have to go for meetings, it is more than Ghana to America. So to take a PR person will be a challenge, or to take another team member. But of course, if you have a supporting team, or you have a group of financiers who believe in what the music has become and the level of money it can generate, not for the artists, for the GDP of the country, then we can. So for now, you do the most with the limited resources you have, because it's doing the most that has brought me this far. And you can't also wait. You have to keep moving.
Yeah. I think you made a point earlier on that I think we need to drum on a bit as well, is that it's not just Ghana. We move a lot artist-centered, where the artist is expected to do everything. But every player in the industry or in the ecosystem needs to have the same aggression. As a PR person, being in New York, being in LA, breaking these stories validates your PR brand. It validates your blog. It validates your news source. We've all seen how Deep Throat Sauce has become an iconic news source, right? Because it's not waiting for people to come.
Why did he choose the word deep throat?
You explain to me. That one I can't answer. I can't answer. I'm going to plenty things.
But only
that one there.
So what happened was that? What happened was that one of the nights, right? Yeah, he was there. He was taking a deep throat.
Oh God.
Edem.
Salvador. You know the irony. Where the brand reaching, I know if you change them.
But you can consider.
Deep throat. How you go do your logo?
He go persona. He go fit call him DT. The DT.
How the logo go be like? How the logo go be like?
It's not even DTS.
DTS. It go there like
that's if you West.
It go there like those tongues that they use on MTV base.
So we're talking some UN function. Ladies and gentlemen, please can you please welcome
founder
of Deep Throat Sauce.
A striking young gentleman.
Yeah, so like the need for everybody to see, because most of the times we hear artists talking about this and you're like, and send the business. But he's an ecosystem. The blogger who sacrificed, I'm not saying that go with Edem and pay these prices and stuff to help Edem. But in that same room where he's talking to these people, you can also have conversations about the thing you do and your industry with these same big figureheads. Maybe they might, like for example, the gentleman you said that they are focusing on expanding in Texas and in America. Maybe they are not ready to work with artists on this side, but they might be willing to run a blog, run a website, or invest in something else that might even be an opportunity for you. So us leaving our various comfort zones is very, very critical. No, everything he has said.
No, this is powerful, because there's a guy called, what's his name? He's a Ghana boy in LA, right? And this was what he told me. He's the only Ghana boy I know who can drive me around in that precinct that I'm making moves. He was like, bro, I've been here for years. I haven't gotten the access you've given me. I'm in LA. I hear of all the parties, but I never get to meet Swiss Beats, meet Monique, the producer who just texted me a while ago. What's his name? The guy who produced Be My Best and Bentley. Right? I met him in the same space with Swiss Beats, and we've been on FaceTime forever. I release, we don't really care. He reached out to me. But the thing about that side too is that the space is so big. If you don't go frequently, you also lose ties with your network. So that makes it really difficult. You are on the East in New York with a group of people. You come to the DMV, you are building bridges. You go to LA, and when you leave to Ghana for 4 months,
something is happening.
Nobody's waiting for you.
Yeah. So let's do this comparison. So when you come back, do you feel into the hole? Do you feel like you've gone into a hole?
You've come back to the.
Do you feel like you can't move? Do you feel like like somebody just land right now? Norway, it drive from Kotoka smooth road where it hits.
Porto.
It hits.
Mention your house road.
Bank City.
Facts. No. It hits eventually. It's another whole. Is that how you feel like? You can't move if you are here.
No, I don't feel like that. It just makes you not want to talk more. It makes me not want to talk more, because it makes me feel like there's so much to do. Yeah, you don't have to talk more. You don't have to complain. about certain things you see because it's not deliberate. It's because of lack of understanding and exposure and how the speed at which people are moving. I went to a barber shop in LA and I met one of the team members of Kendrick Lamar because that's their barber shop in the hood. It's like going to Sakubana and seeing 4x4, right? And so I'm thinking to myself, wow, I used to be at home and listen to radio and somebody would say, you know what, it will be so difficult for a Ghanaian to win a Grammy. Do you know what it takes? And I'm in the space and I realize that it is not that difficult. It is because the mindset has bottled you from coming up, and that can make you feel like, how am I going to be able to do this, you know? And so if we adopt the habit of saying, these things are a walk in the park, I'm not saying it is that simple, but it's really a walk in the park because because it's doable, because it's requirements. So if you can meet the requirements, like when we met John Leach, he said, do you guys have the requirements? 1, somebody recommended you. 2, you need to fill this paperwork. 3, you need to come to LA for a meeting. 4, we want to see. Everywhere else in the world, the music business is requirements. So if you meet the requirement to be on Hot 97, you'll be there. It's not about who likes you, who doesn't like you, if you have differences or not. You know,
it's a Takashi thing out here. Takashi thing.
The industry has set the parameters.
Okay.
I wanted to find out from Edem. I remember having a conversation with him when I was at Oceans, maybe back in 2016, 2017, where he said to me that don't slack, be in people's faces, stay relevant and do you. But if you now say that you don't want to talk, right, then I'm thinking also, what changed? Did something change? Did something trigger that where you just want to put in the work and have the work speak for you?
No, not talking doesn't mean not being visible. Not talking in the sense that there are things that you realize that when you address, it's pointless. That's what I mean by not talking.
Okay.
By being visible, of course, you have to be visible. But I also understand that the absence of resources is the innovation that artists use to be visible by being either controversial or doing some stuff that will get you in the front of conversation. It's a form of innovation because of lack of resources, right? But if there are resources and a PR and a marketing budget,
you don't need the negativity to
misbehave.
you won't need it.
Right.
But you know, as we are here, excuse me to say, if I say something very sour about the president, I will hold every news platform tomorrow morning.
That's fact.
Right? And so if I don't have the money to be able to engage all the bloggers to post my video, and I do that, after they talk, they will play my video.
Yeah.
And they'll play my video. So it's a means that it's a survival tactic that we've adopted, which has become very traditional and part of like the culture for fans to even think that. So fans will advise you actually, Charlie boss,
try and train.
You for trend, you know they talk. You for do something. You know if this person, you know, and then you go elsewhere, and that is not the case. It's a carefully curated strategy with a goal of either filling a stadium, with a goal of going to 1,000 capacity venue. So there's a trajectory. Okay, we are doing this. In 6 months, we will be able to do Echo Stage. But before that, we'll be able to do Howard Theater. It's 1,002. Echo Stage, 3,000. We go to SOB New York, we do 400. We move from SOB, we do BB Kings. We move from BB Kings, we do Apollo. And then we try and go to a bigger place.
Higher and higher.
Right? Over here, you do...
Ewak.
You do the foul thing.
You go kneel down.
You do the foul thing to get in front of conversation with the hope of being booked for a show. If it touches somebody who thinks they're a gatekeeper, they don't want to book you for the show, so you do more, and there's not even a single venue build up, and so the terrains are different. Sometimes it saddens you because when you are out there, your perspective is really clear. You are like, wow.
Okay, so let me ask you this tough question. So sorry, Xero. Now, speaking about all these requirements and assets and properties and levels, stages, chains you have to climb, let's come back to the products that we generate from Ghana. When you fit it into all these things, is it workable? Being very honest with yourself. I mean, with you inclusive.
No, there are great artists here. I've been in the major studios in LA, right? And it's actually an interesting time because I've seen American producers in LA struggle to play Amapiano beats and Afro beats.
It's not there.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is an amazing time because back in the day, we used to wait for what the next drum pattern for hip hop is. And then our producers will start playing. And so we're actually in the lead without knowing it, right? And so the music, I don't think is the problem. Of course, all the technicalities might be a problem because we don't have the resources. I was in the studio, I'm sure somebody will say it on my IG page, I was in the studio with Patoranking and Miku. Miku is a Nigerian who mixes for everybody you can think of. Young Thug,
Okay.
Chris Brown, he mixes, he has Grammy Awards, he has plaques in the studio. So I went to play, we don't really care for him. You know, because you are trying to get the ear, other sides. He likes the record. He was like, bro, this place, I think you need a crescendo. I came to Ghana, I did that. But you see, in the conversation, he was supposed to mix the song. And he's mixing it for $5,000 a song. You know, in a very high level studio. That is the ideal thing to do and get your song, get special audio version of the song, which is a 3D of music. But I don't want to do that because I have TikTokers to pay. And so I'd rather come back to Ghana and let Gazi mix it. That is also not to discredit Gazi. If Gazi has the same access that he has, and so I don't think that talent is not an equipment. Ghanaians are talented. They are videographers, creators, artists. However, the little setback I notice is that we are also curated in a way we don't allow alternative mindsets to flourish. So if at a point in time we think that the Ofori and Ponsa style of high life is what it's supposed to be, a lot of players will be sleeping on other forms that can still also take off and not necessarily compete. And so that's what I can say.
I want to ask, right? There's something that has worried me, and I've said it 10,000 times. Not because you are here. You're checking our footage. I've said it a million times. Every time there's the Ghanaian artist conversation, for some reason your name is left out, and it pisses me off. Awards, hit songs, performance, lyricism, delivery, everything. If there was a checklist, you take all. But rarely do I walk in on the conversation and anybody is in the room defending you, shouting for you. But the things that you are mentioning, that the journey you've been on, the exposure, the kind of rooms you've been in, the kind of people who are gravitating towards your brand and trying to work with you and trying to give you access and all that, those people are not gatekeeping the same elements that Ghanaians we gatekeep, right? A Ghanaian blogger, radio producer, radio host, DJ, show host will tell you that, oh, we be there well. Swiss Beats should be more concerned about the ewe of your song than the Ghanaian. But he doesn't care. He can still look beyond that and appreciate the music, give you connections, give you access, blah, blah, blah. These people in LA, New York, Cali, wherever, they should be the most concerned people about what makes you different. But they are rather embracing that difference and seeing how they can use that uniqueness, TV shows, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They are still looking for a way to celebrate the uniqueness.
Yeah, I'm even afraid when maybe, you see how Timberland has been now going on his TikTok and I'm afraid what that guy would
you get what I'm saying?
Cooking when he decides to drop Amapiano on Afro.
I mean, I think
everything that seems special about the Edem brand in Ghana has been consistently put in quote unquote a negative light. How does that feel? Being able to go in the real world, I call that.
No, that's the real world.
That's the real world.
Yeah,
how does it feel being able to go to the real world and being seen for your pureness, the talents, and what is possible? And then you come home and you have to deal with all these BS, all this, and it's like you are working on minds. Because if you go talk, we don't talk about Fully Well, boom. If you talk, we don't talk about Serial Well, boom. You know, what's that duality? How do you deal with it? You, your team,
No, honestly, it used to bother me years ago. I used to be really, and I mean strongly on a very mental level, like, how do you navigate these waters of preconceived notion about what you represent, or somebody thinking you are talented enough, but your talent ends where another person who is their tribesman starts. So I can love you so much, but I have to love you to be a number two
Because
to
I love
somebody
this other guy.
because I love this other guy. And all these other small tribes that artists have also built and have indoctrinated them into mindsets of competition. And why I agree that the other side is the real world is that I realized moving around a lot that over here we do a lot of socialist approach to things. And so when you are outside, because it's the exchange of value and capitalism and how we can make money, nobody competes, they collaborate. Once we are going to break bread, I don't have a problem. But over here, because it's social, there's a lot of sentiment attached to, you know what, I've been going to all J. Foley's events, but he didn't show up for my birthday.
Beef.
So I'm angry. But if you've been going for all J. Foley's events and every time you go, he pays you, then your birthday, you should also pay him to come and MC. And so one of the strong things I think we should do is that we should start exchanging value instead of being so social. And that is very cultural. And that will make everybody stand right. Because you wouldn't give a job to somebody who cleans 3 Music every day and say, oh, he's been helping me a lot, so I want him to be the accountant. But people do that in the space. He's been helping a lot. He's the one who is always sweeping. So now I need him to be my PA. Does he have the qualification? And what value? Yeah,
we don't operate on merit.
And which value are you going to exchange? And I believe that we should move to a place where the entertainment industry is exchanging value, so that if I go to perform for, let me say, R2Bs on their show, even if it's not money, we sign a contract and say the next time I need you for a show, show up on so and so date, so that if they don't show up, I don't become like, I helped you, I've been on your show, you are not on mine. Or the artist to forget, because it's very social. So they've forgotten that when they needed you, you were there for them. And so they go like, I'm busy doing something because it's a service. And after you've offered the service, they forget the value of the service that you've offered. And so in the beginning, I used to be bothered. Now I am not. Because I realized that there's nothing I can really do about that concept and ideology. And you just have to keep pushing.
It looks like that will never change, Because we're trying to do friends in a very strong business-oriented space, and because we always roll with sentiments and emotions first, it looks like we're going to be caught up in this mess for a very, very long time to come. There seems to be no headway, because based on all these things you're saying, I mean, I've had my fair share of seeing what America presents to the table when it comes to our game, and equally, yes, when I came back home after that 3 days or 4 days back, I chopped for there and it's just I see. I was overwhelmed, and I tell you a personal experience that event organizers, for example, when your event is done and they have to pay you and it is finished, my brother,
the service is over. They don't see.
But here's a situation where I think we missed the flight taking from LA to New York. We missed our flight. So when they got us the next flight and we got to New York, we missed our connecting flights back to, I think we're coming to Nigeria. So we missed our connecting flights. And in New York, they gave me $500 and gave me a 2-night or 3-night stay in a hotel.
Wow.
For me, the money side was even more important. And this lady, the person in charge, kept on checking on us constantly till we boarded the flight and we took off. Landed, sent an email, had to confirm with the via mail that we landed safely. We had received the money as well, and everything. And it goes along with to say it's in their DNA. It's the way they do things.
No, it's
the level agreements that they set on
Jay,
things.
that is really the real world, and
that's the right way.
Yeah, the right way.
So
of
it
doing
scares me.
things.
It scares me now as an artist in Ghana. Based on these things you're saying, as an artist in Ghana now, doesn't these things affect your creative process? The way you said, people are suppressed in their thinking. What are you going to put out to match up to the global music conversation? Are you going to be able to go to the studio in 3 minutes, produce a song to fit the 3 minute timeline? That will become the next big thing.
So I had a performance in a Jamaican club, a day party in DC, right? So it's an afternoon party, mixed group of people. And when I say mixed group of people, what people also forget to understand is that there's nowhere in the world where we have every African than America. It is only in America that you find a Ghanaian in the same space with a Kenyan, a South African, and Somali. So sometimes when you are pushing over there, you reach them faster, because if you're on the continent, you have to catch a flight to SA, then go to Kenya. But America puts...
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag of people, right? So it's a Jamaican club. But the thing, and this is just observation, not facts, what I've observed is that a lot of the dancehall spaces have been taken over by Afrobeat.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, a lot. From LA to a lot of the dancehall, like they call it bashment, right? Yeah. A lot of the bashment places now is predominantly Afrobeat. Mm-hmm. So I walk into the set to perform, and the MC doesn't know me. You are entering a new market. Yo, Burna Boy in the building, Of course, he doesn't know me, right?
Oh my days!
And then
I go collect them.
And then I introduce myself, and then I talk about Ghana, and then I perform. I perform 2 songs. Everybody leaned towards my song Toto. They're like, "What record is this? It's so fire. We don't understand. You should push it in the space." All I'm saying is that Ghanaians have amazing product, but platform is what we don't have. And it is safe for me to say that we must agree that the independent artist era is non-existent. So every artist has to try and get a deal. Somehow. Get a major machine behind you to be able to do things. I was having a conversation with Sway last week, at the Moving Pick, because it's in Ghana, right?
Sway the Safo?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Who mentioned that he was in town? Was it you?
We've been trying to get him, but...
Somebody told me last
about hosting him.
I have the deep throat access.
Now they be like, my next t-shirt has collected hands.
It has collected hands.
Yeah, so I was with him, and he was telling me, "My brother, I've seen your journey. You've done so much. You need a label." And he said, "I realized this thing got serious when one of the handlers of Burna Boy is the person who used to handle Carmelonaire, because he's my friend." That's when I realized, no. This
it's not playing again.
No, this is serious business. So I think that it might be difficult for people to get these deals, because sometimes the conversation is about numbers. But I'm sure if we have strategic business people who can put a team together and show data and a roadmap to what can be done, these labels can onboard artists who are even new and don't have numbers. And I think that's where we must go. Partnerships with major machines that can make things happen.
Okay. Yeah. Now, so that brings us back to the making of the record, the We Don't Really Care Jam. In any way, was that influenced by all these things you've seen and how you wanted to plug it and play and where and who? I just want to understand if there were any influences from all these experiences.
Yeah, so when I was out there, we were talking heavily to Orchid, right? Or Orchid, as people call it, the distribution company, because they're a subsidiary of Sony, which means that there's no way the DSP will put you in the forefront of conversation than a Sony affiliate or Platoon that is under Apple Music, right? And I also traveled a lot only to realize that even some of the DSPs are also independent, and so did they hustle like me, no. And so in that case, you might as well be going with a big fish, even if it's at your expense. So we had a conversation through my contact. Orchid was like, "We cannot give you a budget." I'm like, no problem. I'll do what I can do, but sometimes getting in the machine is important to start the conversation, and so that's how we rolled out. We don't really care, and it also teaches you. The independent DSPs, they don't teach you anything. Like Orchid, the kind of requirements they send to the table of my team that we are putting together as independent team is crazy. Setting specific requirements that if you meet, you'll be able to get some mileage. And so that is what it taught me, and that is what we are doing.
Do you think it's because of some of these requirements? Some of our artists who we've once heard, they've had certain offers like that on their tables, and they've not been able to take advantage of. Do you think it's a conversation of work ethic, and having the right people around you to tell you, do this, do that, do this, do that? Because to be very honest, to some extent, some of us don't like paperwork. When it's too much paperwork, then we get confused. You get like, nah, I can't do this.
I think it's safe to say that artists are actually not supposed to do the paperwork because it is so tedious. Like, I'm my team lead, and I give a lot of credit to my team, but doing that paperwork, you even have to describe your song to Orchid. You have to describe it. You have to describe your song, to Orchid. You have to do photo shoots, and the particular ones you send to them shouldn't be out there already, right? You have to share all your socials. You have to show your entire marketing plan. Who wants to show their entire marketing plan from all the radio stations that you're going to be on?
Have that?
Yeah, all the traditional platforms to newspaper plugins, influencers you're using. Like, we had to make a whole list of all the influencers who would be a part of the campaign for We Don't Really Care, put their Instagram, put their numbers, and describe them and what they mean to the ecosystem. So it's tedious. And imagine you have to do this on a global level, where maybe you are doing it for Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, where Edem, I don't even know the terrain in Nigeria to begin to identify who are the people in the ecosystem. That is why you need a machine.
Because they are skilled, and
they are skilled. They have their eyes in all the territories.
Yes,
they have.
So you just focus on doing the music.
You just focus on doing the music, and
be
I think
a superstar.
I think that's the biggest challenge for the artist, and that be why they explain.
Let me say big shouts to all those who are watching us live, also on our Facebook. Numbers looking great. Thank you very much, and shouts going out to you. Your questions are allowed though, and you can just shoot them. And we've got about a few minutes left on there, but let's come back to now the song. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. I mean,
so we don't.
He was trying to explain. So
so we don't really care how I feel at this point in my life and career, because of the experiences I've had, and I'm also creatively bored very easily, and so every time I'm looking for new sound, like if I'm tired of Afrobeat, I'll just do a reggae song and release it. I'm not very static when it comes to that. Of course, my team is on my neck because that's their job. Like, Afrobeat no get playlist though. No, reggae no get playlist. If you do a reggae song today, if you do a rap song today, you can be in Afrobeat's top 100. Sometimes it's not only about what you want. So do you do more Afrobeat to be in a conversation because you can sail against the wind? That will not be, you'll not be a smart sailor. You have to go where the wind is taking you, so that whilst you are rowing your boat, it becomes very easy. So recorded, we don't really care. Shouts to Groovy, very young and talented Ghanaian. And I must say that everywhere in the world, everybody hears it and they can relate. They are like, it's so accessible, and so on and so forth. And so that's how I feel.
All right, let me throw
right
a really tough question to you. Now, I've known Edem, for years now, and I know your songs are deep.
Yeah.
You like to talk very deep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pulling you from Heba.
Yes.
I'm pulling you from
Yes.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Now, this looks like a very light song in terms of what subject you were touching on. Guys, go have fun with it. Was there any intentionality behind that?
Yeah, I think for me, every song is a different project. So every song is like a different child. So you need to decide the impact you want the song to make for you. When I did Heba, It was a hip hop statement. I didn't want a hit song. And I think every true artist will understand. I wanted people to know that I'm very good when it comes to rap and delivery and approach and all of that. And so the song was specifically designed for that. When we were doing Get to Arise, I already did one reggae song, which was a love song. And Hammer said, you know what? Your first reggae song cannot be a love song. It has to be something on the level of Bob Marley, conscious. The elements have to appeal to ghetto people. So I went back in the studio to do another reggae song. So that was the design. And so if you are doing a song and the design is to enter the night space, or you are traveling around the world and you realize that people don't really care. Everybody in the club has a problem, but you never see it when you're in LA. Everybody's just balling. So sometimes you are being too deep for those people.
I see.
You are being too deep for them.
So,
where the space is.
So just before you continue, we need to just sign out from Plus FM at this point in time on 10 o'clock exactly. And it's been good having you listen to us. However, the conversations are still going on our socials. On Facebook, we're streaming live right now with Edem. And also on TV, on 3 Music TV, it still continues. But don't forget, catch the repeat of this show back tonight at 10 p.m. and on our socials on YouTube as well with the upload and the podcast. And on Plus FM, coming up next is news. You can't miss it. And the show continues. Yeah, you're saying?
Yeah, so I'm saying you realize that people in the club have problems, but people are partying around the world,
You forget the problem.
closing deals and making it happen. And so the intention of the song is for that space. And because I'm a creative and I'm a work in progress, I can't use one song to sort of like explain my entire journey.
Brand,
I can go along and then decide to do a very specific song that will speak to deep issues. And I have songs like that in my arsenal already. They are just not released. Yeah,
I'm yet to leak or get access to that hard drive and leak it all up. You know.
The hard drives you for steal, they plenty.
Plenty.
1 million.
Yeah. I mean, so I think the explanation is quite clear. It depends on the direction of what you intend to. So, are you working on an album coming up?
I tell my team that I'm not going to work on an album till I'm in the front of conversation and I'm everywhere, because you need the attention to impact your project, you see. And so if Davido has released an album, but he has heavily, literally promoted Unavailable throughout the year, and he's a Sony artist, then you should know that in the new space we are in, it takes a lot to release an album. So you might as well release singles after singles until you get the message.
Somebody dropped violence on Facebook. Violence. But I think he's answered that question indirectly already. But let me just read it. He says, Vicky May says, okay, one question for Edem. Yes. He says, he was talking about exchanging values. Like, he said, what convinced him to jump on? Even me, I was also shocked when I saw it. He said, what convinced him to perform on Rapaholic last December? Because we all know Sarkodie didn't show up for his video shoot with Efia, which brought a lot of conversation. What was the deal to perform on Rapaholic?
Sarkodie reached out to me out of the blue. So that makes me a prophet, because I tweet say, bro, you go need me.
Yeah.
So he reached out to me on Instagram, like, Charlie, bro, you did town, which is usually Mike. You know, then he calls me, Charlie, how be the family? You know, he did pass corner. Then he goes like, oh, I go need you for Rapaholic. It didn't end there. I'm like, all right, no problem, right? Because you can't be who you're not based on how people move, you know. A few hours later, I get a call from Hammer. Charlie, the Rapaholic.
That one day, you know, if
it be me, they celebrate. You guys all they get together to celebrate me. The politics comes in, all right? You guys all they get together to celebrate me. So, if I come there, if I show you messages from Hammer leading to Rapaholic, you won't believe it. He was texting me from the daytime, where you day? You can't reach. And then I pulled up at the place, no questions asked. And then Angel came to me. You know, he brought me, I think, a last 2 t-shirt. Because we all wanted to wear the last 2 t-shirts, but they brought it. Yeah, but they brought it at they brought it at the 11th hour, and I said no. I wanted them to get it to me early, so that my stylist can put it together. So I said no, I cannot wear it. I'm already wearing something for the night. And then I tell Angel, say, you see, this is a small world. and you see, say I pull up for you guys for stop the move crooked, you know. And then I went backstage and I went to perform, and I left, you know. And so that's basically it.
For me, it's all love.
I want to ask. For me, I'm always for the nostalgia, and that is why I love conversations like this.
Yeah.
That song, that video that was shot, I think it's Ghana's was Ghana's iconic videos in hip hop.
The one with Edem.
Yes,
Kwakese.
Kwakese. Can you just? I know time is fast, man. Can you just tell us what happened on that day?
So, one of the
because I know something funny happened.
No,
with
one of the
Kwakese
highlights of the Boucher videos. First of all, there was this guy called Don Elijah who had a boutique.
Okay.
You know, so we went to lease the outfits. We go borrow the shutters for the video. We didn't have money, right? And then there's this guy who had some convertible Benz which we were using in the video, BMW.
Yeah.
And he said, Charlie, my Benz, that time it was $60,000. So I no go fee move you guys for come shoot for there. So we went to Osu. When you come from behind, they go to Citizen Coffee. Where did they sell the groundnut for?
Yeah.
Behind that side. So we parked the Benz for there. Bro, we did do performance, you know, we put white bed sheet for the background. The screen. Steve shouts to Steve because he shot the video. Steve shot the video.
Hey, that's Steve.
Yeah. Steve shot the video.
No, we need to bring him in here. Can
Steve shot the video.
Bring Steve into the story.
We can't have such
Steve shot the video. And once we are performing, you know, we are moving on the cloth.
Yeah.
And I'm
The stone we take support the cloth. One drop hit the car top.
Hey, Steve. Yo, Steve, listen, Lenny, can we go pull him in?
Somebody's $60,000.
Yeah.
Drop
Have
hit
5
the
minutes.
car top. Where everything stopped.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Where the car owner, they on set way. You
don't know whether you go laugh.
Go there, go see where he say no mark day, nothing happened. He say no, guys, I'm sorry. So they drove the car off. So if you watch that scene, the car day small, the car no day again, and because if the car we take the play the music, we all for lip sync in our head. So if you see us moving, the music
That's really funny.
Wait, no, as in there was not a speaker.
No, there was no
Everybody
speaker.
will assume say go play from the
So
car.
you were playing from the car.
Explain.
Yeah, we're playing from the car.
So
you know?
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So Hammer was there. Yeah, Hammer was there clapping because he has the timing. You know, and
Wow.
you know.
Oh, bro.
La hustle.
That's the kind of story.
Right? Right?
You know,
Bro.
and I think that video gave birth to Yvonne, the dancer. And then that video has everybody. That video has Macho Rapper.
Yes. Yes,
That
Macho
video
Rapper.
has Stage A.
Yeah, and
that
Ruth.
video has Ruth.
Yeah.
That video
Mentor, right?
Yeah, move from yes.
Dr. Crime.
Dr. Crime.
That video has
Squad.
Yeah, that
Squad.
video. Yeah,
You
that
see,
video.
from this is what they call from the streets to the LA, like
Okay, so
But that's it.
So me,
Okay.
just a quick one. So that's the video, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the song. Like we used to hear, we hear stories about people queuing up to get to Hammer Studios and how difficult and competitive it was to get like a selection to be on Hammer's record and all that. You had yourself, Kwakese and Sarkodie. I think Sarkodie at that time was arguably getting into the game proper, and people believe that it was a song that really outdoored him proper. How did the three of you come together, and Ruth obviously, to put out a song like that, and obviously becoming one of the most iconic records in Ghana's hip hop history?
Okay, so we recorded You the Craze in 2007.
Okay.
But we put a trumpet on it in 2008. All right? 2008, late part of 2008, after performing it for the opening of the John Legend concert, and Hammer was like, no, I think there's something missing. After the performance, let me put it on it. But we were always in the studio because Hammer took me on. He signed me orally. Hammer and I signed paperwork a year after working together.
Right.
A year after me coming out.
Right.
And the day Hammer signed me, he signed Sarkodie the same day too. It was at Bastov Restaurant. We all signed the same contract. So we're always in the studio. But when we were almost through with the album, he said he needed a crank song. because then Crank was popping, Make It Rain, Party Like a Rock Star, you know, Gimme Blow was making waves, Yawa Boys was making waves, right? And so he laid the drums, and I did my verse in the studio, and then he said, I think we should sing something that's really, really catchy. And I'm thinking, he was like, and then he referenced Car Millionaires. They see me rolling, they hating, and I'm like, so that's a low baritone, very laid back, very hip hop. So then, you know,
that same energy.
Yeah, that same energy. So I did a verse. He told me that I went home, and then we had a studio session another day, and I walked from Basket to the Spinters Junction, took a car, and whilst I got to Spanner, the melody hit my head. Boom. You know, so I sing repeatedly, not the words, singing the melody repeatedly until I got to Hush Hush, and then I put the words in it, you know. So as I was putting the words and laying the vocals for the chorus, Manche walked in the studio, and Manche went off.
Don't just stand there and watch.
So he went, so Manche went off, and then he went straight, did the vocals, and Ruth was the backing vocalist for my entire album. So she was always with us in the studio.
Right.
And we were playing a song, she wasn't a part of it, and she started doing something on the side, and that's Hammer for You. Immediately he hears what he thinks he's looking for. He will tell you, get in the studio, get in the booth and record. And then Kwao came in, and Kwao originally was on Bra from me, right?
Right.
But Hammer was like, there's something missing. And so when Kwao came and said he likes this one, Hammer said, you know what? Give me the verse, let me hear. Kwao gave the verse, Hammer went off, and then Hammer took him off Bra from me and put Tiny.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's how Tiny made it to Bra from me. And then Sarkodie came in, because mostly when I was recording my album, he will be in the studio, and then also laid his verse. And Hammer was like, because I recorded my verse in 2007.
Right.
These features came in 2008 because the album was 2009. So Hammer was bored of my verse along the line. He said, you know what? I think you can do better. Lay another verse. So I lay another verse. We do the John Legend concert. And then almost when we're about to release, he said, Charlie, right now, you did form past previous, do a third verse. So that's my third verse on the song.
Whoa.
That officially came out.
But I mean, it's all good. It ended well, right?
I love it.
That's a good banger.
I just love the story, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really
wow.
great.
Wow.
In the door, super.
Bro, I'm sure there's more, but
Nice.
time no day. But
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Hammer, thank
We-
you. If
yeah.
not, like, boys go the hung,
Performance.
so I appreciate you. Yeah,
No,
I
with
appreciate
Hammer.
you.
And Hammer, the day you would actually come.
A shock.
Hammer.
Bra Hammer.
Hammer.
What for
The
Hammer?
story's clear.
Brother
Hammer.
Hammer.
Let me say on air. So Hammer was supposed to come. We planned, we set everything. I was
Wow.
Charlie, if you go do it here,
You know what?
If we go do it.
don't see, I wake up. Hammer text and say, Charlie.
I don't go fit. But he's your father, so you know.
I go nominate myself. Dawn time, I go bring her.
We go bring her from
Book
your
am.
house.
I
think
I
we'll do it,
surrender.
we'll do it.
I remember fear, then we
Okay.
come.
No, when Hammer is coming, I would need to be here.
No, yeah.
I tell everybody that Hammer is not a beat producer. He's a genius and a marketing head. He knows, he's able to see. He's not a producer. Hammer is not a producer. Because if he was a producer, he wouldn't do the same thing for A1 Bread that he did for music. Yeah, he won't do the same thing for a confit juice. Yeah, his
I
mind
think I
is yeah.
Well, when it comes to that, those combos, it's just we see with one eye. Hey, Hammer. Edem.
We need you.
The story.
I get goosebumps.
Charlie, listen.
The journey will be crazy.
I say if he tells you about Bowley, he tell you about that story.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
No.
And I go ask him plenty questions.
Yeah.
See now you know.
Jay, I beg you can ask. Just
want to hear.
Before you ask
We
it,
want
we
to
have
hear.
2 minutes.
I
Before
want
you
permission
ask, you have
to
2
ask.
minutes because you touched on something CSR.
Yeah.
We liked
Yes.
it.
Yes.
You were in the Volta region recently as well. Just give us a quick highlight on that. You know, we've
A
got some
quick,
visuals to show
quick
to as
highlight
well.
is
Let's do that.
I'm begging everybody that we really need help. It is more than you see on the ground. People's septic tanks, vehicles, fish farms, their entire farms, livestock at home are buried in water. Kids are not going to school because their classrooms are the camp, and so any help you can give. These people are going to take about 2-3 years to recover. We were there to support, to contribute. It's an ongoing initiative. I'm back there this week. Shouts to Tilium group of companies who has decided to support me. I'm in some conversations with other corporate partners. We really need everybody. And I also told my team that next week, after this week, I also want us to go there with a Bobobo group and go and do a night vigil, because it's not only what they are going through, their state of mind will also help them. And so music gives hope. And so we should go there and play music throughout the night at a park and just stay together and have the ability to uplift people's spirits. And on that note, first time ever, I know the team will not be happy. Due to what happened in the region, we are not doing Edemfest in Keta because it's in the south. We decided to make Edemfest a paid show, but we are doing Edemfest in Ho, changing the date to 18th and doing it a free concert.
Come on now.
Just to uplift everybody. Yeah.
Come on now.
That's nice.
I don't want to talk something bad, just relax up.
This would have been your first paid Edemfest, right? But then, well, as the universe will have it, universe said no.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Well,
and no, special thanks to Francis Bolu Kofi and lawyer Ejo Jijikuno, and then Ablakwa. Amazing push and effort just to try to get people to have their spirit lifted up. Electric poles are buried in water, so you can't even turn on the lights for the community.
Charlie, Edem,
Man.
we'll cut the video here, but our conversations in-house still going on. We'll put it out on YouTube for you to watch it out. But before we go real quickly as well, don't forget, B&O is all up for you. You get some real cool stuff there. Exclusive home theater, speakers, headphones, and TV sets, and more. And it's J Lenny Cereal, Olele, aka Deep to Sauce, and we are out.
Peace.